Hello and welcome back to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. So, we're less than 2 weeks away from the end of the Kickstarter campaign for my short film Erika, which will explore the mind of Erika Shiragami as she gradually transforms into Biolante. You may have seen a couple of teasers for the project here on my channel or on the Kickstarter page. And how about that animation, huh? It looks pretty awesome, right? Well, tonight I am here with the wonderfully talented person behind that animation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jesse Quales.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was generally surprised by the uh, invitation offer and whatnot, so this is exciting for me.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got Acno Goji, what's going on? We got RJ. Hello, RJ. How's it going? Bonus commentary. Hello, Derek. And we have Brendan of Autistic Lizard Productions. What's up? What's up? And Danny DeMana, the writer of the project that we are speaking about tonight.
Oh, he's the writer. Nice.
Indeed. Also of the Godzilla novelization project, which you should check out if you have not already. Alrighty, Jesse. So whenever I have people on my show who have never been on my show before, I like to start them off with 3 questions.
All right.
Number 1, how did you get into Godzilla? Number 2, what's your favorite Godzilla movie? Number 3, what is your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju movie?
Oh. So I pretty much got into Godzilla when I was like 4 years old. When we started putting out the 50th anniversary edition DVDs, and then my first film was either Destroy All Monsters or Godzilla versus Megaguirus. And then eventually it went on to where I continue to collect every single DVD I could find, that being the 50th anniversary collection ones first, since they were more prominent, and then slowly all the Heisei, all the Showa, and then I remember seeing Godzilla versus Biolante in the aisles of K. Roger, or I think it was K. Roger Republic, something like that. So yeah, whenever I see them, I just grab them and go. So yeah, that's how I got into Godzilla. My favorite Godzilla movie is it's basically split between Godzilla against Mechagodzilla or GMK, because I think those are one of my 2 favorites. So yeah, because I really like the story to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and then GMK with Baragon, Ghidorah, and Mothra, and the whole atmosphere, and especially the music to that, which
music.
Yeah, say what you will about any of the Godzilla films, whether they're ranging from Godzilla's Revenge to the anime trilogy, they all have fantastic music everywhere you go. Favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film? I'm not really sure if I do exactly have one. I haven't seen that many that I can think of other than King Kong, really.
That counts.
Okay, well, in that case, Peter Jackson's version of King Kong. Even though it's 3 hours long and it adds some of it's filler, some of it's not, but I still think that they establish a better relationship between King Kong and Darrow when compared to the original. And the fact that Peter Jackson kept it so extremely faithful, that I think it has a lot of improvements over the original, because the original is it's just a basic action monster movie, and which is fine, and everyone loves that, and really impressive at the time. But Peter Jackson's, also because I'm a Peter Jackson fan, I love his movies. I feel that's a really great story for a very tragic monster. So yeah.
King Kong's fantastic. I personally prefer the original King Kong. I mean, I'm a simple girl. I like simple movies. So, but yeah, that's just me. But Peter Jackson's Kong is That's all right too. I give that a watch here and there.
Yeah, it's long, but it's a good. I always enjoy it whenever I watch it.
Awesome, awesome. So, who the heck are you? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I'm CGF Movies, or well, online, and that's what I'm known as. And so I'll talk about myself, and then like my own channel. CGF Movies, that being crazy Godzilla fan movies. Originally, I started the channel, which is coming up on 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't start off by doing like anything Godzilla related that like Monster Island Buddies has done or discussion wise. I mostly tried doing a lot of fan made trailers because I had a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff because it was like a huge thing around those times from like 2012 through 2015. I have a lot of fun because I love editing those type of videos, whether they're in the style of trailers or just made up random stuff that I really enjoyed. And then eventually I slowly eased into animation, learning about it through middle school and high school. And then I decided to start doing discussion films, discussion videos, essay videos, and whatnot, movie reviews. And I had fun with those for a little bit. I make a lot of vulgar language and stuff like that on them to keep it more entertaining because that's more my style per se. Then I started going back and forth between fan trailers again in the style of edits. Basically up till now, I just do whatever I feel like, whether it's random meme videos, so like using audio from Teen Aqua Hunger Force for like the Godzilla characters like Zilla 2014 and 54, because why not? Or memes. Occasionally I post stuff like for my other friend's channel where we do gaming and stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. So I rage a lot, and it's pretty funny. So yeah, I pretty much like evolved from doing fan trailers and through to animations, movie discussions, and to just now doing whatever I want whenever I feel like it at any point. And the funny thing is with animation, which I'll talk about myself, is that I started learning animation when I was in middle school, and then that went on to throughout my high school years, and then my freshman and sophomore year in college, I didn't do a whole lot of animation, and then I got back into it my junior year when I made my first attempt at 2D digital animation, because I used to do a lot of traditional animations, so like on paper, with the light box, scanning them, and then coloring them digitally. So my junior year is when I first started doing digital 2D animation with my own series called The Bald, which the pilot is out. We got George Lowe from Coast to Coast, Space Ghost. So George Lowe, who worked on Adult Swim and whatnot, we got him to voice some of the characters for the pilot, and now we're currently working on this second episode. And the fun fact is that the teaser for Erika with that animation, that is technically my fourth attempt at digital animation, and it's like the farthest my skills in animation has become. And I was really proud and the quality and how well it's turned out, especially. And if this project reaches the Kickstarter goal, I'd be down to continue animating this and having a lot of fun with it, because my skills have gotten extremely better over the last 5 to 6 years.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, it looks like you got a new subscriber. Bonus commentary.
You're welcome.
And Brendan says the animation in the Erika trailer looks awesome. You did amazing. Keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I really, because as I was mentioned to me when working on it, we wanted to try to get it as close as to the overall look to Singular Point, but with that kind of animation, it takes a whole studio and team to get that fluidity and that amount of detail. But in the way that I did it, I finally have figured out a way, especially working on the second episode to my series right now. I finally polished out a workflow in terms of animating, coloring, and detail. So I'm like really excited like what I can do with this project. And I feel like it would be a lot of fun. And the funny thing was, before, like when you brought me on for this, I remember thinking when you were describing it to me, I remember thinking, is she aware this sounds exactly like Godzilla versus Biollante? And then I realized, oh, it's a fan film. Yeah, it's a fan film. I got it now. Okay, that's awesome. And the funny thing was like because that was during the time when I was trying to find a job, and I have it now. Happy about it. And then the project related was like Godzilla. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
All right.
I'm trying to control my language because I get excited over this stuff. Um, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm a big fan of Godzilla. Work on a Godzilla project because why not? That'll be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I'm glad to have you on. I'm so glad that I found a Godzilla fan to animate this project for me, because the first person I hired did not know nothing about Godzilla or about following directions. So,
Oh wow.
good lord.
Yeah,
So I am so glad I found you.
yeah, I appreciate it. And like even though I'm a huge fan of Godzilla, there's like a lot of the films, like I've seen all of them at this point, but like some of them I haven't seen in years or in a while. Like Godzilla versus Biollante, I haven't seen it when I first got it on DVD since like 2015, 14 ish. Um, but so like in animating the teaser, I had to do like a lot of research on remembering the characters and how the actors actually looked like. So how they're designed in the teaser is how I based on the actual actors from the films, to really get that connection and make it more accurate.
That's amazing. All right, real quick, we just want to say hi to Godzilla Train 1090, Adrian. What's going on? And we also have M1 Entertainment, longtime friends with CGF. His animation skills have gotten leagues better. Keep up the great work.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin. All right. An actor says, quick, 12 people donate $500 to the Kickstarter. Yeah, we're about 43%. Did I say that at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, it
43%?
was. Yeah, we're at 43%.
Yeah. And hello, Kaiju Nerd 05. All right, so let's get back to talking about you. So, what would you say inspired your animation style in general?
So I don't feel like I have. Well, now I do anyway. I do have my own style at this point. And I never really felt like I did have my own style because the animation software I use and have been using since I first started learning digital animation was Adobe Animate, or that used to be Adobe Flash or whatever. Um, it is awful to use. It is awful, but I continue to use it because it's what I know and it's what I'm used to now at this point, and I can work my way around it despite how rough it is. Because there are better animation program softwares out there. That being, I believe Krita, which is free, but I haven't touched it since last year. And then Toon Boom Harmony, which is pretty much like the industry standard in animation. And I would love to learn it because everyone uses it in the industry. Because I'm pretty sure Klaus used it, which was the Netflix Santa Claus film with that amazing 2D animation style. Because they came up with their own software for doing that style of lighting, and that's the kind of same technique I use for my animations with lighting, is animating the flat colors on, well, at least the way I do it now, is animating the flat colors first and then bringing it into After Effects to apply a color layer over the alpha channel of the animation, and then animate it as B and adjust it however. Um, and then occasionally, depending on the shots, I'll add in the shading and lighting myself on the actual frames, and you can see some of that in the teaser with Erika in in position. Like there's just shadows on her neck, her face, and her dress. Those are like drawn in shadows that I did myself, so they're not in anything like in post or whatever. So it's a learning process because Adobe Animate is rough to use, and I do not recommend it to anyone whatsoever. Like, if you can afford Toon Boom Harmony, which is like I think it's like 230 for the basic subscription, then do it. But Krita is also free, and that one seems to be better because in terms of style, because I don't want to keep rambling. In terms of style, Adobe Animate, it's kind of hard to get a style in that because majority of the time it's going to look like Newgrounds or these very flat lines that you really get in flat colors, which I'm not a fan of. But at this point, I've gotten so used to it that I can work with it, and now it's part of my own animated series. Working on it now, and then also like my past senior thesis project that I used to graduate with, which that was a lot of fun. I was very happy with the way it turned out. But like, if you were to watch like all my animations from when I released the pilot episode of my series, The Bald, up until the teaser of Erika, there's a huge amount of improvement that you can point here and there. But Adobe Animate, I do not recommend whatsoever. So in terms of style, it's just the tools I've been using in that software. So it's just more of like a Newgrounds Flash style that I've been trying to work with.
Awesome. Well, like I said, the Erika teaser looks fantastic. Thank you so much for your amazing work on that. So amazing. So this is going a little bit off topic, but I am curious.
Mm-hmm.
From an animator's perspective, what are your thoughts on the animation of Godzilla Singular Point and or Gamera Rebirth?
Oh boy. So Singular Point, and this will be off topic also. I don't think Godzilla has like a good anime as of yet because I think Gamera has the better anime. But the reason being, it's in terms of like mainly writing. From a writing standpoint, Gamera's Gamera Rebirth is better, but Singular Point is absolutely beautiful. It's because you can see the line details on the characters and the amount of effort that was put into that animation, especially in the monsters of Singular Point. Like the monster animation is better than the anime trilogy. Eon's better anyway in terms of the frame rate, their movements, their details, and everything. But Singular Point has a very beautiful, highly detailed sense of animation that I absolutely adore and would love to try to mimic someday. Especially with working with Erika, it would be great to get as close as possible to that with the line details because it's absolutely beautiful. Now with Gamera Rebirth, I love Gamera Rebirth. I think it is like the best kaiju media since Shin Godzilla in terms of Gamera and Godzilla, because the animation to the monsters like Gamera, Gaius, and whatnot throughout the show are really well done. The 3D animation, the modeling was all amazing, but in terms of the 3D animation of the characters, frame rate and everything, it's really bad. It's really bad. The low frame rates jump all around, so sometimes it's low frame rates, and then like I remember seeing at certain weird camera movements where they turn around holding an object, or if they're running, that's when the frame rate starts to pick up, and it's very inconsistent. And I kind of understand why, because the emphasis is more on the monsters themselves, Gamera and whatnot. So there is some, I can't think of the word, leeway in that, I guess. So I do think in terms of writing standpoints, Gamera Rebirth is better than Singular Point, because Singular Point, you have to really pay attention to what's going on, and it tends to get very overbearing with the science, because I think the writing was done by I can't remember what he studies, but he was like some type of doctorate or whatever. Um, he was like a physicist, something like that. They had a physicist, we'll call him that for now, write Singular Point, which explains a lot. But Singular Point has the best animation all around. Gamma Rebirth, the human characters are fine in terms of writing, and their designs, but animation-wise, it's not great. Monsters are awesome though. So yeah, that's like my thoughts on both of those. And I've also done a video on talking about Singular Point, which I thought was really solid. And but I don't. Oh, that's another thing about Singular Point that I don't like is that it's basically almost a rehash of Shin Godzilla. And yeah, it's a rehash of Shin Godzilla, and the quote unquote forms of Godzilla are just reused Toho monsters like Titanosaurus, Varan, and Gorosaurus, which really I did not like at all, and I thought was lazy. But in terms of overall and even fan service in Singular Point, I thought was great. So Singular Point, amazing animation, dry writing. The characters are all colorful. Their designs are great. And then Gamma Rebirth, amazing writing, great monster action all around. Animation really could have used work.
Yeah, I agree with you on pretty much everything you said. With Godzilla Singular Point, with all the techno babble and the sciencey stuff, it's like my small brain can't keep up with that.
I mean, I understand what they were going for, but at the same time, there's a certain point where you need to realize who your audience is, and like how exactly you execute it. Because if I were to compare Singular Point to Shin Godzilla, which they're the same thing, Singular Point, if you're not paying attention, it at least keeps you awake with the animation. Shin Godzilla is like really intense and is very intentional with its writing in terms of how heavy it is with the politics and the dialogue and the amount of research going into that, because it's a not a period piece. It's a commentary based on Japan's experience with the 2011 tsunami. So that makes sense, and also a critique of Japan's military force. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the Gamma Rebirth animation, the characters definitely, it was off-putting the way they were animated. At least I thought so, yeah.
There's a lot of, and it's not just Gamma Rebirth that does it. There's also a few 3D anime that does that. So like I haven't watched it in a while, but I don't know how it's turned out. But Ajin, Ajin, which is like about these people that can regenerate from pain or whatever, and they have their own like demon spirit, not spirits, like they're demon stand users basically that follow them around. And the animation, it's all 3D animation, and you get used to it after a while, but it's very off-putting. It's very low frame half the time, unless it's action-based. Anything that's action-based, they're all going to put in like high frame rate because you just have to, otherwise it's not going to look good. And then obviously the Godzilla anime trilogy from Netflix, which, I mean, it has its moments here and there, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be remembered. But they also do the same thing with low frame rates and 3D animated characters.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the anime trilogy for many reasons.
Yeah. It's not great. They disrespect half the monsters, and they try to be different with it, but it did not work.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, some people like it, and that's totally fine, but it's not for everybody.
I think it just has great sound design and music, but even that, those two things don't carry movies. So
yeah, no. All right, real quick, let's just give a quick shout out to MJR Creative Films. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And my buddy Derek makes a good point here. I feel like Rebirth got a substantial budget cut at the 0 hour because, man, some of the mixed media really does not read well. Jiger bursting from the building, as an example. Right, I'm trying to remember the scene.
Jiger is the knife head one, right?
No, that's Guiron.
Oh, this Guiron. Oh, wait.
Jiger's the one with the horn.
Oh, the Triceratops one, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there are moments like that where like Jiger like bursting out of the ground, it looked very off. So there, yeah, Gamma Rebirth has a lot of issues with like both the frame rates of the characters, but also compositing because there's certain times where a missile is like going to a monster and it looks like it's going into its mouth, but then it stops at like at the tip of its lip and it doesn't even look close to even hitting the monster.
Yeah, it has its sloppy moments, but what can you do? All right, getting a little bit back on topic, talking about
Yeah,
you. You're the star of the show tonight. So,
I'm enjoying this. So
awesome, awesome. What would you say is your favorite project that you've worked on so far? Erica, say
I mean, Erika, I'm very was a lot of fun to do, especially like continuing to learn Adobe Animate and like what I can do to make really amazing animation. So Erika, my favorite part about animating that was her dress waving because that was like the most detailed I've done so far at that time. Um, so Erika, because it's Godzilla related, is like a huge thing for me to work on because I really enjoy doing that. And fun fact, there is a deleted shot that will not be shown, as we both know, that I did myself because I wanted to do something extra to really hound it in. But I understand because of like the copyright stuff with Toho. Um, but in terms of animation, I've done how many projects? I've done my high school senior thesis, Old Man Planet, which was mixed media with both 2D animation, stop motion, and on-set, uh, fully built miniature sets. That was a lot of fun, but I could have used more time in the animation on that. Then there's then there's The Bald, which is my animated series that I've been trying to work on and get out. Episode 2 will be coming out in November. Then there's my college senior thesis project called Aftermath, which is about Ash, who's a lonely mutated creature that comes across a blind cat he has to defend from other monsters. Uh, and then Erika is like, so basically I've only done like 4 animated projects in my lifetime in learning animation because it takes so much time. And like that's the thing is like if you're not fast enough, like because animation takes a lot of time for it to look good. And if you want to get, because that's the thing, like with my channel, I won't really. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic a little bit. Like
Erica. Okay.
um, I'll save it there for now so I don't go off in tangents. But personally, my favorite project was was Aftermath that I did. But Erika, I'm excited to see where it goes and see what else I can add to it because it would be so much fun to really work on it, especially like animating a Godzilla project because funny enough, it's also on my channel where I wanted to do like a Godzilla Attack on Titan crossover animation, where I kind of teased that by doing traditional hand drawn animation, scanning it and compositing, which I did that like freshman year of high school. That was a lot of fun, and then I actually did animate new shots for that for another teaser, but the footage was on my was on one of my USBs, and then when installing Windows for my PC, I unfortunately lost all that footage,
Oh no.
and I don't know where the original. Well, I have the original frames somewhere, so I could scan them again at some point, but I don't know whenever that will be.
Mhm.
There's a lot to it.
That's okay. So, when animating the teaser for Erica, what would you say was your biggest challenge?
um, I'm trying to think back on the shots because it's been a while since I
Mhm.
watched it, but I'm really trying to think back because that was like that during that time working on it, it was a bit of a blur because I was in the process of getting ready to move and finding a job at the same time. Um, I mean, all I remember is that it was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I Huh. That's like a tough one because I don't remember. Ah, here we go. This helps.
All right, yeah.
This helps. Yeah, that shot was relatively easy to do with the dress moving because it's a very simple shot. The only thing that's moving is her dress. Actually, yeah, this shot right here was probably one of the biggest challenges. The eye shot was easy. Any of the eye shots were easy to do. The Godzilla shots were a lot of fun. Actually, no. Okay, so if you go to the end where Biolante is slowly revealed, yeah, right there, that was the most challenging because I had to do that in like at least 7 different layers where one is one layer is her vines moving around, the other is her full body, then the leaves, then the vines in her head, and then the rose head. So I had to like do all those in different layers and then try to make them look good enough to where it didn't look cheap and goofy. So I had to like try to put as much detail as possible into those to really make it look good. So the challenges was animating Biolante with all the different layers and figuring out how I was going to do it. And then Erika's dress, which was a lot of fun to do because of the wave motion and then also how it's turning around her legs at the same time. So, but I love that eye shot so much.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I'll be like if this thing gets going, I'm going to change her design up a little bit to be more anime like because I was using a lot because I don't draw anime at all, so a whole lot of times. So I had to do research and like looking at eyes and characters that look close to Erika in real life. So I took references from like your generic lab scientist anime girl, and then Mikasa from Attack on Titan. Like I really looked at her, how she was drawn out, and I took inspirations, especially around her eyes, to like get that look.
Awesome. Well, again, you did an amazing job. So, like I said at the top of the show, we only have less than 2 weeks left in the Kickstarter campaign. We're about 43% funded. So, why do you believe people should support this project, aside from the fact that you get a job out of it?
I mean, well, well, I mean, this would technically be like one of the first successful Godzilla project-wise Kickstarters because I remember like seeing the trailer for Godzilla Heritage and stuff exists. Like you find stuff on that, but like it got taken down, and I don't think it reached its Kickstarter goal either. So I think that like if this does make it in some way, this will be like the first ever, to my knowledge anyway. I don't know about any other projects out there. This would probably be the first ever kickstarted Godzilla project. Well, indirect because of Toho. Yeah, because like I really feel like this is an interesting path because a lot of because I feel like in terms of from what I remember from Godzilla versus Biolante, Erika is not that much explored in terms of like her character, and like Biolante is literally a mix between cells of a plant, Godzilla, and a dead person. So yeah, it would be like really awesome to have this, and especially since my animation skills are getting better and better, I would love to do more stuff on this in terms of character animation and like being more psychological and experimenting with very abstract shots, because I don't know how this will turn out. And if we could squeeze in like maybe a few Godzilla shots here and there, potentially, that would be so much fun.
That would be awesome. Or for Toho reasons, maybe like a Gosh Zilly.
Yeah,
a Gorsh Ziller.
Yeah, for we don't name it Godzilla or Biolante. We just make visual references, and that is it.
Yes, that's it. Just the
Like-
show a foot.
Yeah, so
Or
those watching, please donate at least $500 so we can.
only $500. That's all we need. That's all we need, people. It's not so much to ask. All right, so my buddy Danny says the eye-opening shot was the moment I was most anxious to see animated. You nailed it, my friend, and I
Oh, thank
agree.
you. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I really wanted to nail that one because that was like the first shot I started working on when starting the teaser. Because like how I work in animation, my animation flow is starting off with like the easiest shots first, and then fleshing them out as much as possible, getting the details right and whatnot, and then eventually working on the much harder shots, that being Erika standing still with her dress flowing, and then Biolante. So it was a lot of work going into it. A lot of because really animation, like it's like 50% of animation is planning. So if you plan your shots, the timing and spacing of your animation and whatnot, you'll be set and you'll be fine. And then doing the rough animation, doing the line details, cleaning it off, coloring, shading, and then compositing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what was your process behind it, that doing the teaser and animating in general? And yeah, you just answered that.
Yeah, like my process has evolved. So originally I used to do it where when I got back into animation anyway for doing digital animation for the first time, I mainly just eyeballed it with the timing, and where I would literally take the animatics or the storyboards that I drawn out and turn them into an animatic. I would always use the animatics as the keyframes to my animation whenever animating. And so each time there's a storyboard that pops up, that's a keyframe, that's a keyframe, that's a keyframe, and then I just draw the rest of the frames in between. But that doesn't always work with the timing, because if you want a quick shot and then the storyboards and the animatic are off by a little bit or however, it becomes very hard to keep track on, and it doesn't really look right. So my not style, but my workflow eventually evolved to where I still keep the animatics and storyboards as references, but I don't use them as a keyframe. So my timing, I literally think, okay, how many frames would this motion take? So like if it's a punch, okay, that's split second. So however many frames, time it, literally draw out the timing and spacing and how far apart each frame is. Then I would do the rough line work, like very basic rough lines to get the motion down, see if the motion looks right, and then I would go back and do the details, because really animation is all about the motion. If the motion looks good, then you're in the clear. Like, and even something like I can't think of like an ugly American animation that has a good flow. Rick and Morty, for example. I hate the style. I hate that style of animation because it's ugly and it's not cheap, because it still takes a lot of work and there's a lot of layers to it. But great animation in terms of movement, but ugly. And I guess that's what they're going for. But yeah, my process is all from doing keyframes and animatics and storyboards to just using the storyboards only as a reference, and then just literally straight ahead drawing every individual frame to get the motion right first, and then put on the details over it.
Interesting. See, I don't have the patience for that.
My patience has always been an on and off type of thing, because it takes a lot of time. Like, it kills part of your soul. If you want good animation, you've really got to like sit down and push yourself through it if you want it to look good.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Same thing with video editing. And sometimes you gotta push yourself through it to make it look good. You gotta really go in there, watch the video back several times. It's a whole thing. But
It definitely is. Like, video, I love editing, especially like the fan trailers I would usually do on my channel. Some of them are still around. Some of them I had to take off because YouTube considered it as spam or whatever. YouTube sucks. And shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, editing. I love the process of doing it. It's a lot. It's I really love doing editing. And it's a lot of fun. I've also edited a couple short films, so that was really fun to do. But like when in terms of like cutting shots, like live action shots and whatnot, um, it takes a lot of time because you really got to find like the right takes to use, and then figuring out the timing of your scenes and whatnot.
Awesome, awesome. All right, just going back up in the chat here. I just want to say hello to Donnie Winter, my twin. We call each other twins, even though we look nothing alike, but we're alike in every other way possible. Awesome. Nice to see you, my friend. And Wayne Ashworth, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. All right. And we also had a question from Derek of Bonus Commentary. What challenges do you foresee in the animation process with a project like Erika, i.e., character specific information, character modeling, audio sync, etc.?
I'm not quite sure, but because it really depends, like what's going to be written and like storyboarded out. But the biggest challenges would probably be, especially for this project, mainly the human character animations. Because if you want your animation to look good, you have to animate on model, which is like keeping your character design consistent throughout the animation. Because if you were to watch something like the Mad show, uh, Mad from like Cartoon Network and magazines or whatever else, right? Their animations are off model a lot. So, like it's very expressive. It's very out of the range. Like those like highly expressive uh, emotions that characters like from SpongeBob or Courage the Cowardly Dog do, where like their eyes are coming out of their heads or whatever. They're screaming, and that's off. Those are examples of like off model. So, uh, yeah, I would say a huge um, challenge with Erika would be keeping the characters on model, and like I know my anatomy, I know how to draw people, which is a good thing, so that won't be too hard. It's just a matter of like, okay, how like I would say the line details, because line details can either add or really take away. So I have to it would be figuring out a way to where the characters don't look like Flash animation, and they look like as close to like singular point as much as possible. So it's mostly keeping the character designs consistent in the animation. Because I feel like the way that would make it would be easier to get this project animated is if I were to draw out the characters first, so that way I can keep them on model, coloring and everything. So that way when I go to animating, I have references and I can keep that going so they don't turn out ugly or unintentionally off-putting. But with audio syncing, like lip syncing and that kind of stuff, that's relatively easy because all you do is you scrub through the timeline and listen to each syllable in the sounds of words, where they start and end, and really like usually each word is uh, like no more than 2 to 4 frames, depending on the frame rate. Anyway, so like hello, like for example, hello, you don't animate every single letter in hello because it'll look weird when you animate that. You just do the heh and then the o, and then that's literally all you do. Because like lip syncing, when you get it down, it's really easy to do. It's just a lot of drawings of like drawing all the different mouths, because that's one thing with anime, like that's like pretty obvious, like all it is just up and down with like 3 to 4, maybe 5 different mouth drawings for different sounds, which is understandable because that's the easiest way to do. You just have a library of different lips and jaw lines to line up with the character, and then you just sync it up with the audio. So that's relatively easy. So the bigger challenge is just animating on model.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the link to the Kickstarter is in the description. Please, if you are able to pledge or share the link around. If you're not able to pledge, that's okay. But spreading the word will help, and every little bit does help indeed. So, yeah. Oh, hello, Doomzilla. There you are. As one of my regulars. Hello. What's going on? All right. So, anything else you guys say about Erika?
Um, Not really, but like, go support it.
I'll support it. Dang
Yeah,
it.
yeah, go
So
support
Jesse
it.
can get a job.
Well, I have a job. It's just
A better job.
I want to animate for a living, not do social media. Yeah, I would love to work on this, and I do want to say though, like, seeing that like you've interviewed like OmniViewer, for example, like I remember getting the news that OmniViewer he promoted Erika at one point. I was like, wow, holy, that was like that's my animation right there. He's talking about, and it's amazing. Like OmniViewer, someone who I was subscribed to and have watched for a very long time, is promoting an animation that I worked on, and then also. Like something else I was really impressed by with your channel was like you got Monster Island buddies on here at one point, which was like, wow, that's awesome. To be that close with the Godzilla community, which is awesome. Like I grew up watching Monster Island buddies and then seeing you with them. It's like, wow, that's awesome.
It is awesome. I met him at G Fest last year, actually.
Oh, nice. You got to see
Yeah.
his face reveal.
Yes, I know what he looks like. Good times, good times. So, aside from Erika, any other upcoming projects that you want to share, or is that confidential?
No, not really. So the biggest upcoming project right now, the teaser is out for the Bald animated series. Episode 2 is coming out in November. And the animation is going to look absolutely awesome. There's going to be more action with it, better animation than the pilot, and whatnot. The teaser for that is already out. It's just the Bald episode 2 teaser, and the thumbnail has a roided up cockatoo choking the Bald basically. And the Bald, I'll put it since the Bald is a animated series about a mutant eagle retired vigilante hero who only comes out of retirement when a gallon of milk spills all over his clothes. So the short way I can put it with this character is that he's very petty John Wick. And so the first 3 episodes have already been recorded and written out. Episode 2 is going to come out in November. I'm going to release another teaser for it in sometime in October to bring it back up. But the first teaser is out now, and you can see that out there. But I would really give that a watch if you can, because I'm hoping we can get that to some studio, whether it's like Paramount or hopefully Adult Swim, because that's the intention. But who knows? That's my big project I've been currently working on at the moment and trying to get that done.
Awesome. Well, good luck with your future endeavors.
Yep, thank you.
Let's see. Can anyone follow you on social media or anything? Get updates on these projects of yours, or?
Yeah. So if you look on YouTube, there's well, I haven't had the time to like update the socials for the project, but if you look up the Bald animated series on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Also, Detective David Bald for those. And then we also have our own website that you can check out. We haven't been able to keep things updated because really it's just only me working on it now, and I've hardly had the time to post new stuff. But I do plan to post like some of the character turnaround designs to Instagram, so be on the lookout for that art. I don't have the only social media I have is just Instagram, so CGF Movies, and then of course my own YouTube channel, CGF Movies, the same way, where I tend to post Godzilla related stuff when I can and whenever I want to, but other times it's memes, me raging at video games and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's what I've got.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming onto the show. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I enjoy doing this stuff. So if any point when I'm bringing me back on, I am more than happy to talk about stuff.
Awesome. Will do. This was an awesome conversation.
Yeah, like I didn't lie to you when I said I talk a lot.
Hey, that's perfectly fine with me. Makes my job easier.
Yeah, yeah. I try to keep myself from going off on tangents because I don't know, I love talking about this stuff.
That's perfectly fine. We can always talk a little bit more after once we go off the air. But yes, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here. And to you watching at home, thank you so much for hanging out with me and my wonderful guests. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the stream if you had a good time here tonight. And if you did have a good time, leave a comment down below. And please don't forget to support Erika either by pledging or sharing the link around, spreading the word, all that fun stuff. All right, everybody, that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye-bye.